go!
Hey guys, so in today's video we're going to be featuring the F-16 Viper against the Mig-29S in a Fox-2 fight, meaning heat seekers, and if it comes down to it, maybe guns. Feisty will be flying the F-16 Viper for us today, and I will be manning the Russian Mig-29S Fulcrum. Chances are Feisty and his F-16 will play to their advantage and opt for a rate fight to get a good fire solution for his off-bore sight AIM-9X shots. I will be using the Russian AA-11 Archer, otherwise known as the R-73, allowing for off-bore sight fire solutions coupled with the Mig-29S helmet-mounted sight. The Mig-29 displays good nose authority characteristics at low speeds, which can be important in a Fox-2 situation. But if done incorrectly, this will also make it very vulnerable to the Viper's rate advantage, as the Mig-29 will be a sitting duck. So let's get started and see how this plays out. Alright, here we go. We got Feisty, 12 o'clock, he's in an F-16. And so what I'm going to try to do is just, these Fox-2 fights, they end really quickly, right? So in the merge I go, I'm going to try to keep the speed low, try to whip the nose around as fast as I can, exploiting the MiG's low speed nose authority. There's the lock, Fox-2. You can see he's got his flares out. That one's going to miss. There's a second one for him. Again, that's going to miss. Fox-2 again, that's 3. I only got 1 left here. Gonna make this one count. We're going to try to come up right behind him. And if that doesn't work, we got to go guns. Splash 1. Alright. Got him that time. Yeah, so these Fox-2 fights, they end really quickly. It's just a couple of turns and then somebody's dead. It's either you or him. There's not a lot of time to think, you just kind of got to do it. Yeah, so you can see that these rounds are really quick, and this is generally how it goes in any Fox-2 situation with two people that have a basic concept of how this works, and they stay within the parameters of their missiles. The AIM-9X, extremely dangerous. If you want to defeat it, you need to pre-flare. If he fires the AIM-9X and then you flare, you might as well just eject. That thing is extremely resistant to countermeasures. So that's the merge. We're going to go ahead and try to lock him up here. He's over this cloud. Locked, Fox-2. It's just not going to be able to pull enough G's to come around on him. The flares might have confused it as well here. He's got an AIM-9X off here. I'm pretty... Oh, god damn it. Okay, so once again this round we're gonna definitely have to pre-flare as we get into parameters for the Bandit's AIM 9X shot. It's always gonna be very 50-50, but you know, we'll see. It seems like Feist is getting a better handle on how he wants to do these engagements as we go. He's probably gonna go down. There he goes. Yep. We're gonna try to stay up here. Stick to the low speed nose authority of the Mig-29. I'm pre-flaring here. I'm dropping flares because we're within parameters. Here comes the 9X. There it goes. That missile went stupid. So we're good. He's high above us here, and we are continuing to pre-flare because he is definitely within parameters here. I am way too fast. That's a 9X shot. I'm continuing to pre-flare, and that one I swear was going to hit me and missed me probably by inches. And he's on the 6 o'clock now. We are completely defensive, and I am running short on flares. And if I don't turn this around, here comes the 9X, and this time I'm pretty sure that we're not going to get away from it. Yep. Wonderful. So in real life, this is much more likely how a merge will go. Like, we've done a lot of videos on the channel where we just go in for guns. Guns can absolutely happen, but it's just more than likely that if two planes merge, they're going to be flying something called defensive BFM, which is exactly what we're kind of doing here with the Fox-2s, and you're pre-flaring and you're trying to get out of his off-bore sight parameters and all that other stuff. So you can see Feisty here pre-flaring. I have him locked up. Here we go, Fox-2. And he is flaring, and that one's going to miss, and the second one's going to miss. Alright, so we're going to stay on a 6 here. He's going to continue to pre-flare. This time we have the advantage. That's another Fox-2. And that one's going to find its mark. Splash 1. So you can see that mistakes in the Fox-2 fight are punished, and they are punished very quickly. In a dogfight situation, you have a much more time, in my opinion, to react to a mistake that you made and try to correct it. In a Fox-2 situation, you know, I don't think you have that. I think the first guy to make a mistake is the first guy who pays with his life. So There we go for the merge. If you do make a mistake, you probably have fractions of seconds to reverse it, and even then you're going to need a hell of a lot of luck. Alright, so here we go. It looks like this time he's rating much better. The pre-flares are working again. That's one AIM-9X that just got scrapped. And he is coming around. He's within parameters again. He's flying into the sun. He's using the sun to... Oh, he tried to go in for guns. The sun will confuse my Fox-2, so he's using that to his advantage here. He's maneuvering onto my 6. I'm having terrible control with the Mig-29 at this point. And here it comes, here it comes. That's not good.
Engine fire. Right engine fire. Radar failure.
Alright, so I didn't enjoy that last round at all. I could not get him off my 6. That's the thing with the Viper, is just it rates around you. If you don't kill it quickly, it just sits back there. And to be honest, I'm not great in the 29. Maybe a much better Mig-29 pilot could flip it around, but it's not going to be me. Alright, so here we go again. Locking him up, and there's a Fox-2. That's nowhere near a threat to him, so he doesn't even bother flaring. Fair enough. Here we go. We're gonna lock him up again. This time what I'm gonna do is use the rudder and just throw the nose of the aircraft in front of him to give the missile good lead, because right now that's what happened with the rate. The missile can't keep up. See, I just threw the nose in front, Fox-2, and bam. So you can use the rudder to give the missile a little bit of lead, so it doesn't need to crank as hard, it'll lose as much energy. Alright, well, it's also worth noting that the F-16's radar is kind of underperforming. Vicey is definitely going to have some trouble locking me up in these situations. Once they get that fixed and the ACM modes in the Viper work the way that they're supposed to, it's going to be far more dangerous in this Fox-2 situation like this. Okay, so there's the merge there. We're going to stick to our low-speed nose authority, whip the nose around. We're getting better rates than him right now, but we can't sustain this. Here's the Fox-2. And he's got one off. We've been pre-flaring, so that Fox-2 is going to miss. And that's a splash. Alright, and this will be the last round, I think. And so here we go. One more time, I'm going to cut the throttle, really slow us down, add throttle in the turn, Okay, I'm having a bit of trouble getting the nose around this time. He's in a better situation. Too close for both of us. Looks like this one might become a gunfight. Yep, we're both way too close. Got a couple of pre-flares from me back there. We're getting pretty close to the ground here. Someone's gonna have to make a decision pretty quickly. It's gonna be me. I'm out. A couple of flares from Feisty there. And terrible control from me. But we have him on the deck here. I'm gonna go ahead and lock him up. And Fox-2. And it looks like he's got something off as well. I can't tell if... Oh, yep. Yep, wonderful. But I got him too. That's a trade. Alright guys, so this is our tech view. We're just going to do a couple of these. Not going to do one for every round. Just to talk about some of the concepts, essentially. So here we got Feisty, myself, and the red Mig-29. And so here's the merge. You can see my initial indicated airspeed at 398, and Feisty's at around 560, so he's probably indicated about 410, 420, something like that. And so there's the merge. And so you can see I'm just really going to yank my nose around, and I had kind of anticipated for him to be over here somewhere, but he dived down. And so you can see that both of us begin pre-flaring. Okay, so pre-flaring is when you're in parameters where he could possibly get a lock on you with the helmet mounted sight. You're in parameters for a Fox-2 launch from the Bandit. And just to give yourself a little bit of help once that missile comes off, it's always just going to be a chance thing. It's not like if you pre-flare you will survive, but it kind of increases your chance a little bit. So we're pre-flaring, he's pre-flaring, and right here he drops 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flares, but he stops here. I have my lock. I don't want to say I waited, but I got lucky that in the moment that I was going to fire the missile, he stopped dropping flares for a few seconds, and more likely his countermeasure program stopped and he didn't run it in time again a second time for a couple seconds, and that gave me an opportunity to release my Fox-2 at a separation of 4,300 feet. Okay, so there's that missile. My Fox-2 is off, and he gets his Fox-2 off at the same time. And notice how in this little portion here he hasn't pre-flared, so my missile is nicely on him at this point. We'll get rid of the labels there for a second. And so you can see his Fox-2 is also off, but it's not going to be enough for him, because as he drops this first flare, he's going to get hit by that R-73. You can see his 9X here. The only reason that this doesn't hit me is because he fired it just a second later than mine, and it just couldn't pull enough G's to hit me. Essentially is what happened. You know, like, watch my missile release. Right, so I've already got it off here. If we go back a little bit more, right there. Okay, so right there I got my missile off. Fox-2. And you can see it takes about a solid 1 to 2 seconds before Feisty's comes off. So mine has a little bit more time to just maneuver. It's got a little bit more maneuvering room, essentially, because then we get too close to each other. When Feisty, by the time Feisty lets his Fox-2 off, we're too close, and his just misses me. So the flares didn't really matter in that situation. I just got closer to him than his missile could turn, and mine luckily found him and his missed. Okay, so that's going to be that fight. Let's see if we can find another one. Alright. One more fight here. So once again, Feisty blue, me red. And there he goes underneath. And so you can see I'm trying to turn my nose around. Both aircraft are going to try to play to their own advantages, as we talked about in the intro. Feisty's going to attempt to go for some sort of rate fight, essentially, to get his nose around faster. I've got the low speed nose authority of the Mig-29, which is kind of what I wanted to exploit. And so you can see my indicated airspeed is pretty low at about 300-ish. And I'm pre-flaring here. Okay, a couple of flares here and there. Notice how right here, there's a pre-flare, and then Feisty's 9X comes off, and for whatever reason, I think it actually came off before I pre-flared, or maybe because there was a couple of flares in the air already. Right here, like there's a couple of flares already up there. Feisty's got his AIM-9X off, more of my flares. The missile's just confused. Okay, the 9Xs are extremely difficult to defeat. They're very, their countermeasure resistance is very high. And what that means is once it's off the rail, if you haven't pre-flared and it's within parameters, more than likely it's going to hit you, no matter how many flares you drop. Alright, so that missile goes stupid, and at that point I was kind of freaking out, so I'm looking back, and Feisty's doing a good job of maneuvering and staying behind me there. I'm dropping a couple of flares every few seconds, pre-flaring, right? 1, 2, and he's got another AIM-9X off, and you can see that, again, that one, this is the one from the video where it comes really, really close. And yeah, that comes really close. Wonder if I can slow it down anymore. Let's get rid of the labels for a second. 50 feet. If not like slightly less. Like that thing comes close. $29 feet. Yeah, so again, this is just a 9X that's confused because it's got the energy. Look at its true airspeed of 1,400, Mach of 2.2, right? That missile's got energy. It's confused. That's why it's not hitting the target. And it's got more than enough maneuvering room, so it's not like it got over G'd. Speaking of which, look at the G's this thing's pulling. 21 G's. So, yeah, it's not about the G factor. It's pulling 28 G's to try to hit me there. It's just not, that's not the factor. The missile's just confused. And it's confused because of all the pre-flaring, right? So that's how you're going to defeat the AIM-9X, pre-flare. And unfortunately, at this point, I think I'm starting to run low on pre-flare, so I'm not dropping that many. And Feisty catches me out, AIM-9X. You can see I'm still pre-flaring a little bit here because I can tell he's well within parameters. But even though, like, there's one pre-flare, that was a second pre-flare before the AIM-9X fire. But even if you pre-flare, you're only going to get away with so much. And if you continue to let the bandit sit on your tail like this, he will eventually splash you with the 9X. So pre-flaring is not a 100% thing, okay? It just increases your chances a little bit. Okay, guys, so that's going to be the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you to Feisty for helping out, and thank you to all of you for watching. Have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.